Blood, handcuffs, screams, and a full-fledged war. Stevie J was arrested. Lil Scrappy was hospitalized, and the cameras were still rolling. What kind of betrayal makes a man lose it so badly that he ends up in an ambulance and the other? Man is thrown in the back of a squad car while still screaming Bambi's name like a curse. This wasn't a staged drama. It was real, unvarnished, and the footage is being buried faster than Stevie's last failed comeback time, talking about leaked text messages, explosive audio, and a crazy backstage brawl. One employee compared it to watching Mike Tyson swing on Suge Knight in a broom closet. What started it all was a year-long feud with a woman at the center, and a betrayal so cold that it almost broke Scrappy's heart. If you think you've seen drama before, you haven't seen anything like what happened behind those studio doors. When you think the drama between Lil Scrappy Bambi and Stevie J has reached its climax, think again. This isn't just another reality TV meltdown. It's full-blown chaos with flashing lights, screaming fans, and a stretcher rolling out from backstage. It all happened at an exclusive sold-out Love and Hip Hop event. Don't blink, don't scroll, because by the end of this video, you'll be wondering who really planned this and why. According to sources, backstage tension had been building for weeks, when Lil Scrappy, still emotionally damaged from the fallout with Bambi, showed up looking like he had something to prove. And let's just say that Stevie J didn't show up to play peacemaker, although the reunion tape was never supposed to reach the public. Cameras weren't rolling when fists flew, but insiders are leaking everything. Mama D was seen pacing frantically and talking to producers with her hands waving in the air just before the main taping began. It was said that she warned them, "If y'all let Bambi and Stevie be in the same room with my baby, I swear for God I'm tearing this whole set down." Security was on edge from the moment these two locked eyes. A smirk was on his face, and he had no apologies in his mouth. Nobody paid attention. And now we have felony charges, broken glass, and an intensive care unit report that says contusions, internal bleeding, possible concussion. But what actually happened? Who threw the first punch? And why did Scrappy leave in an ambulance while Stevie J left in handcuffs? Let's go backstage in the holding area, where Scrappy had just gotten agitated when Stevie J walked in with two unidentified industry friends who appeared more. I hope no one in here is still crying over Bambi's OnlyFans, because she made more money than y'all in a weekend, said Stevie loudly, according to one eyewitness. At that point, Scrappy reportedly yelled, got up, threw his phone on the couch and said, "You still talking after what you did, you a whole clown, Stevie?" The room fell silent, and the production assistants and security began to approach. But Stevie didn't stop. He allegedly leaned in and whispered something that would never be recorded. At that point, chairs flew. One of Stevie's guys was pushed against the wall so forcefully that a painting fell. Someone screamed, and one of the producers yelled, "Cut the feed." However, it was too late. By the time security arrived, Stevie was gasping and holding his ribs like something cracked. And Scrappy had blood on his lip. But the wildest part, and it wasn't even the end, was when Stevie allegedly took a tiny silver switchblade out of his back pocket. Security tackled him right away, and he was still screaming when he collapsed against a wall, clutching his side. Paramedics were called, and Stevie J was handcuffed on set, and Scrappy was loaded onto a stretcher in front of a yelling audience who didn't realize this was real. Word spread like wildfire. When they finally made it to the emergency room, TMJZ was outside the hospital gates. One nurse reported that they had never seen so many camera flashes in the parking lot. Not even when Kanye's cousin entered for that foot incident. Meanwhile, Mama D was outside the police station holding an unplanned press conference as if she were running for mayor. "I told them that Stevie J was poison, that he had been leaking drama since 2003. And now my baby was lying up in a hospital bed. But it turns out that this wasn't just regarding Bambi, clout, or even respect. This relates to a dark secret that no one was supposed to know, according to several sources. Bambi and Stevie J have been secretly working together on a new reality spin-off without Scrappy. That's right, a brand new love and hip-hop project where Scrappy wasn't even invited. The working title is Bambi, and guess who is behind the pitch? Mona Freaking. According to Scott's word on the street, Scrappy learned about the show just a few days before the reunion taping. He was so angry, betrayed, and embarrassed that he came in hot. Which is why he confronted Stevie, and that's why everything went haywire. However, the worst part is that Scrappy's hospitalization may not have been caused by the fight. A leaked ER report purportedly sent to a gossip blogger by a hospital insider reveals that he had sedatives and other substances in his system that shouldn't have been there. Fans are already speculating that Scrappy was drugged before the taping, unless someone slipped it to him. One anonymous crew member claims that he was acting strangely before he even showed up, slurring words and stumbling a little bit not like himself at all. If that's the case, this isn't just a fight. It's a setup, and his team released a one-line statement in which he maintains his innocence and says he won't be commenting at this time. But the damage done backstage is being treated as a crime. The whole love and hip-hop scene is being investigated. Contracts are on hold, lawyers are circling, and producers are frantically trying to figure out how to spin this without getting sued. However, Bambi isn't keeping quiet. Within hours of the news breaking, she went live on Instagram, wearing a face beat filter and sipping white wine, saying, "All I'm going to say is that you only know half the story." And believe me, when the actual with a grin and the words, "Season premiere coming soon, you can't make this stuff up," T-Drop concluded the live stream. Don't be acting brand new. The comments are a mess. You set Scrappy up, girl. You dirty for this fur, Stevie ain't shut, but you are the devil. And guess who recently hired a top-tier entertainment lawyer with connections to the Kardashians? That's right, Stevie J, the man who famously declared, "I don't do drama, so I'll never need a lawyer." Now he faces 2 felony charges and could face a civil lawsuit if Scrappy's legal team proceeds. Speaking of legal teams, Scrappy's attorneys recently sent a cease and desist letter to Mona Scott's production company, requesting that all unreleased video of the fight be turned over right away. Where does that leave love and hip-hop in ruins? But wait, we're just getting started. Next, we'll dissect the contracts and the alleged backdoor deals. Isn't it convenient that the camera cuts out just as fists are flying? But we do know that security had to break through not 1, not 2, but 3 locked doors. Fake friendships and the real reason this beef exploded on reunion night. And just when you thought this toxic train wreck couldn't get any messier, suddenly, backstage surveillance footage mysteriously leaked, showing a blur of chaos shoving and what appeared to be Stevie J lunging at someone before the camera cuts out. Doors to the dressing room to remove Lil Scrappy from Stevie J, whose shirt was purportedly torn down the middle, exposing a bruised chest and a bleeding lip. This is where things get even more twisted because, according to sources close to the production, by which we mean those nosy makeup artists who listen in on everything, Scrappy wasn't even supposed to be there. He had finished filming, but as fate or drama would have it, Bambi was filming a confessional 2 rooms down with Stevie J standing as a surprise guest star. Mona once again used one of her shady producer ploys to bring Stevie in as a plot twist without telling Scrappy. The moment he realized what was happening, he snapped, stormed onto the set, and reportedly kicked through a prop wall, shouting something along the lines of, "Y'all trying to play me like I'm weak. I'll show y'all weak." And that's when the real chaos started, people screaming, producers ducking Mona not to be found. We've seen fights and drinks thrown, but nothing like that man was fighting for the cameras. He was fighting like he'd been betrayed in real life. That wasn't reality TV, that was raw pain. To pickle anonymous security personnel, who we'll call Rico for the time being, told us off the record. But don't worry, Mona Scott Young wasn't about to let that go to waste. Cameras kept rolling. And you better believe it, the footage is now locked in. A vault is being examined for potential legal issues. But knowing that Mona will repackage, remix, and release it in a mid-season trailer to boost the ratings. Meanwhile, Lil Scrappy, who had to be taken to the hospital due to a dislocated shoulder and busted knuckles, passed out in the hallway from a panic attack. Nurses believed he was overdosing, but it turned out that it was simply the weight of one of Steave. Jay's representatives posted on the internet that Steave was ambushed. He was the victim. He was trying to de-escalate. De-escalate because when? Does a man covered in another man's blood diffuse a situation? Stevie J's family, fame, and fake love all came crashing down at once. The man was allegedly handcuffed at the scene and dragged out the side exit to avoid paparazzi. Paparazzi appeared to be a mediator, and the internet had a field day as a career of scrappy photos went viral on Twitter, memes everywhere for 12 hours in a row. One user shared a photo-manipulated picture of Scrappy holding Bambi's child with the caption, "I've fought for this family." Others were much less understanding, accusing Scrappy of being unstable, aggressive, and immature. But here's the truth. Nobody is innocent in this circus. Bambi, meanwhile, went live on Instagram. Every 5 seconds, her best friend whispers, "In the background, don't say too much." However, in between false tears and eyelash glue failures, sis couldn't help but slip and say, "I tried to protect Scrappy, but you guys don't know the half of what he's done." Fans are already wondering that there is more to Bambi and Steve's relationship than just romance because of what he did. And we are desperate to discover if there is another secret or scandal. Stevie J and Bambi were in Mona's office for more than an hour before shooting that day, according to a purported insider leak from the editing room. Papers were exchanged, contracts were discussed, and Scrappy wasn't in the loop at all. What kind of shady mess is this? It's beginning to look like Scrappy walked straight into a trap and the two have been secretly plotting to push Scrappy out of the franchise. The entire situation was set up as if it were an episode of Survivor Love and Hip Hop Edition. Let's talk about Mama D. She went viral, going viral on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and even MySpace, dragging Bambi, Stevie, Mona, and even Scrappy himself. "I told everyone that they were snakes, and my son wasn't perfect, but he didn't deserve this." They treated him like a pig at a barbecue, and the following day, Mama D Woo was not finished. "You can't make this stuff up, except we can, and we are. And it's glorious in all the chaos." VH1 has gone completely silent with no statements or press releases, but you can be sure that executives are sweating bullets with lawsuits possibly looming and fans threatening to boycott if this footage is ever aired. Camera crew were not kidding, said she's making a documentary series exposing the truth one fake friend at a time. The first episode features Judith and Jordan's The Stevie J Betrayal, a petition with 40,000 signatures demanding that the network release the unedited fight footage went viral. People want to see all of the punches, shouting, betrayal. And producers are in full panic mode, reportedly removing editors from other shows to sort through the footage and figure out how the hell to spin this without losing their jobs. This is the last straw for Love and Hip Hop in Atlanta. But the streets are talking socially, with timings, clip breakdowns, and even slowed down audio where fans swear they can hear Bambi say, "Get him out of here now." The media is rife with theories, analyses, and good old-fashioned nonsense. That's the smoking gun? Keep an eye out, because part 3 is where everything truly blows out. Court dates, leaked medical records, and shocked witnesses. You haven't seen anything yet, Tan. Then the courthouse gates suddenly swung. The trial began with cameras prohibited and tension higher than Mad's blood pressure. But don't worry, because we have leaks, according to a legal assistant who shouldn't be speaking to the plaintiff. The drama officially moved from the backstage area to the courtroom stage. With Stevie J recently released on bail and Lil Scrappy still recovering from injuries and betrayal trauma, the opening arguments on blogs were explosive. Scrappy's team portrayed him as a man who was emotionally manipulated, cornered, and ambushed by production for ratings. Meanwhile, Stevie J's lawyers tried the traditional, tactic of saying that he is a routine boy who is a family man. They even had the gall to call Scrappy a mentor figure in what amounts to gaslighting. Then a surprise witness entered the room wearing sunglasses, a trench coat, and an audacity, with Bambi looking as though she had walked high, was informed by Mona's team that Stevie J was being brought in to shake things up. But what really shocked everyone was what she said under oath. "I didn't know Scrappy would be there that day, so I would have said something, but things were already tense between us, sis. The man jumped through plasterboard like a WWE wrestler over your tension? Let's not pretend." But what happened next? Screenshots and not any screenshots of Bambi and Mona purportedly talking about Scrappy's waning popularity and how the show required a shock moment. One line even went, "Let 'em pop off, it'll go viral," that were shared over direct message. Courtroom gasped. Judge looked shook. Scrappy broke down crying. Meanwhile, Amadi was in the back row fanning herself with a rhinestone-covered Bible and whispering, "Didn't I tell y'all, Judas? All of them?" The judge then dropped the bombshell, ordering an urgent review of production ethics. Translation: VH1 may face severe criticism for putting its cast in danger for the sake of television drama. But wait, it gets even worse. A nurse close to the family discovered hours later that Scrappy had suffered from psychological trauma and a mild concussion in addition to a dislocated shoulder. The best part is that someone started a GoFundMe called Justice for Scrappy, and it raised over $90,000 in 3 days. It's unclear where the money is going, but there are rumors that Mama D is using it to hire a documentary team to expose the machine behind the madness. She claims to have already contacted Netflix, and she looks like Aaron Brochovich with a wig and a purse full of receipts. The web of lies really begins to unravel here. A former VH1 intern, whom we'll call Lola because that's what she put on her TikTok handle, uploaded a whole 4-part series titled The Truth About the Scrappy Setup and Baby, which contained all of the text messages between producers. He went silent, radio silent, erased every post, and unfollowed everyone. Some claim he skipped town, while others say he's hiding out in a Miami hotel with Jelline for protection. Alterations to the schedule, including a purported recording of Mona saying, "I don't care if they fight, just keep the cameras rolling." Then, suddenly, VH1 released a statement saying, "We take the safety of our cast very seriously and are currently reviewing internal policies." All. The internet went crazy. Cancel Love and Hip Hop started trending. Fans boycotted VH1 advertisers, and Mona Scott Young's name was being dragged like a cheap wig in a tornado. The streets of Atlanta are a hive of activity as Scrappy fans organize rallies and supporters of Stevie J spin wild theories about deep state setups. In the midst of all of this, Bambi posts a selfie with the caption, "Unbothered, blessed, booked, sis, you might. We have temporarily paused filming of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta till further notice because of the fact that you were caught red-handed and are now frantically trying to save face. Be officially registered in the court system." But wait, we're not done. According to a late-breaking report from a music industry blog, Scrappy is being approached by 3 rival networks to do a tell-all special. One offer is from BET, another is from Zeus Network, and the most outrageous is from HBO Max. Who wants to make the courtroom drama into a limited series with Scrappy as himself and Taye Diggs as Stevie J? I wonder who's writing this stuff. But the last nail in the coffin, the internet is now calling it the most emotional verse in love and hip-hop history. And they're not wrong. The man went from a hospital bed to the top of the iTunes hip-hop charts with the song Backstage, Betrayal, and Honey. A 3-minute rage anthem, and he spared no one. The lyrics are sharp, bitter, and obviously directed at Bambi and Stevie, who used me for the story and tried to write my downfall. I'm cashing in again. Billboard charts in a week, which is legendary behavior. As for the future, we know that Mama D is starting her own podcast called Thriving Talk. Royal Family Secrets Unfiltered Episode 1, How to Spot a Snake Before It Bite. And that Mona Scott Young is lawyering up Bambi recently canceled 2 paid hosting gigs. Stevie J's passport may or may not have been flagged. Now, dear viewers, I ask you, was this a Lil Scrappy, the aggressor, or just in a system based on exploitation and chaos? The most recent victim was Stevie J. Was he simply acting in his capacity as the mastermind behind it all, or was Bambi a pawn or a player with her own strategy? There is betrayal, blood, a baby caught in the middle, and now there is evidence. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Who is truly at fault, or team Scrappy, team Bambi, or team cancel everything? Don't forget to hit that if this isn't over. Court dates are coming, more footage is leaking, secrets are unraveling, and if we've learned one thing, it's that when it comes to love and hip-hop, the drama never dies, it just changes. Wigs stay. If you made it this far because Who This Mess deserves an Oscar, hit the like button and then subscribe button. If you want more fake news, messy drama, and deeper dives into chaos you didn't know you needed, as usual, stay tuned and stay woke and dirty. Keep checking back. Keep checking back.